Hey, happy Sunday, everybody. It's your boy Jonathan Bam Bam Rivers coming back to you with another session of Life Without Limits. But before I get started this week, again, sincerely thank everybody for taking the time to listen, taking the time to provide some great feedback. I really love what you guys are bringing to the table in terms of supporting me and giving me great feedback, and it is appreciated. So if you think about what we've discussed thus far, we've talked about the Life Without Limits. Last week, I talked about setting the tone. This week, I want to talk about your motivation. What's driving you? And I want to talk about the internal drive. All right? Everybody in life is driven by something. You have a why. You have a motivation. And that's what's helping put you where you want to be in life. Some individuals may be driven by a new job. Some individuals may be driven by a new car or a new house. And that's all well and good. But I want to talk to you first of all about the internal motivation. Think about if you watch college football like I do. Very big on college football. The head coach at the University of Alabama is Nick Saban, one of the best coaches in college football today and possibly ever. He is driven by what's called the process. And the process is simply the day-to-day activities and the day-to-day grind that helps put him and his team in the most advantageous situation to win football games. And a lot of people tell him, hey, Coach Saban, you need to be thankful and you need to be excited about the championships you win. And he says, I'm not telling you that I'm not excited, but what I know is it's the process that keeps me driven because it's that internal drive. Because if they took away the championships, he would still be driven. If they took away the accolades, the Coaches of the Year awards, if he took away everything that anybody externally could give him, then he would still be motivated. So what about you? I want you to think about yourself today. I want you to think about what wakes you up every day and drives you to either go to work, or drives you to stay in school, or drives you to make a better life for yourself. Are you driven by that internal motor? Are you able to sit here and tell yourself that no matter what anybody else says about me, no matter what anybody else puts on me, no matter what anybody else thinks about me, no matter what external rewards they may try to give me, they may be nice, but I'm driven by what's inside of me? Because I'm going to tell you something. I'm not sitting here telling you that being driven by external rewards is necessarily a bad thing. However, I want you to realize that those extrinsic or those external rewards may not always come. I'm going to say it again. Those external rewards may not always come. So when they take the trophies away from you, when somebody fails to see what you've done and they don't recognize you for it, are you still sure about yourself? And do you still feel confident about your self-worth? Because if you can say that you do, then you have that intrinsic. You have that internal drive that keeps you going. That's what it's about. Because nobody can sit here and tell you that you haven't done anything great if you know in your heart that you're striving for greatness every day. If you were walking down the street one day and there was a burning building and you saved 5 kids from a burning building, I mean, you just saved the lives of 5 children and nobody saw you. That doesn't take it away from the great thing that you've done just because you weren't rewarded for it. So I'm here to tell you today, be motivated, but be motivated by that internal clock. Let that motor inside of you continue to go. I want you to pay attention to the details, and I want you to understand that your appraisal and your self-worth comes from within. Be driven by what you can do in this world and how you can bless other people. Be motivated. Be driven, but don't attach your greatness to what somebody else thinks. Don't rely on the external motivation all the time because the external motivation will not always be there. I've earned plenty of trophies in life, from weightlifting to football to baseball to track to academics. And those were great. I'm proud of those awards. But I'm going to tell you what, if you take all of them away, I'm still going to grind the next day because it's something that drives me. You can put me in a competition and I will compete every single step of the way, but I'm competing against myself. Because if I run a race against you and I can beat you running 70% and all I want to do is run 70%, then that means I'm competing against you and I'm not striving for my best. Strive for your best and don't worry about your external competition. Compete against yourself each and every day. So now you're competing against the standards that you've set day in and day out. And don't let anybody else set your standards for you. You can set your own standards and you can set them so high that you continue to have something to strive for. And I want you to be so driven internally that you make people uncomfortable with who you are. Because when they walk in the room, they need to know that this is the most driven individual that I've ever seen in my life. Got one more story for you. When I was a 9th grader at Shaw High School in Columbus, Georgia, I was in physical conditioning class / weight training class. And if you were a football player or a baseball player, you knew you pumped weights every day in class. And I remember I was doing the plyometric boxes. And this cheerleader came up to me. She was in my class. And she said, Bam, you know what? She said, you're the hardest worker I know. Oh, boy, I already knew I was a hard worker. But when she told me, you are the hardest worker I know, those are the type of compliments that drive me. Now, again, if she never told me that, I still knew I was a hard worker. But if she didn't say anything about my athletic ability, she didn't say anything about any other tangible, she said the intangible. You are the hardest worker. So be the hardest worker that you can be. Be driven internally, even if you don't get the external rewards, because your reward does not have to be external. It will be internal, and it will last forever. Hey, again, I appreciate it. It's a blessed Sunday. Spend time with your family. Tell your family that you love them, and stay on your grind, because your greatness is coming. Your breakthrough is coming. All right, this is Jonathan Rivers, a.k.a. Bam Bam, and I'll be back to you again next week. Y'all have a blessed one.